Tiffany here with Years of Years, and it's this day in Disney for July 6th, and today we're going all the way back to 1925. This was a very important day for the Disney company, Disney Studios. Walt and Roy Disney put down a $400 deposit on a lot at 2719 Hyperion Avenue in Silver Lake District of Los Angeles. And they plan to build on this day a new animation studio. The single-story building will serve as the Disney's base for 15 years. So if you think of 1925, 15 years later, you can think about all the things that were produced during that time period. Bambi being one of the films that they produced during that time period. So this is an important studio for them, and where I think they really had like a lot of growth in this studio. And everything started to really happen. So it was definitely worth the effort of putting down this deposit. So they put down $400, but then they spent about $3,000 in renovations to make it right as a studio. So you could think, oh, it was only $400, but then they had to put in all that money to make it a studio as well. Like I said, it was well worth it. So, so during their time there, the things that were produced, that so the last of the Alice comedies were produced there. All of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit shorts and the early Mickey Mouse and Silly Symphonies were there as well. And then this was also the location where work was done on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Bambi, and some of Fantasia. So that is really, really interesting. And then on the roof, there was an iconic neon sign identifying that this was the home of Mickey Mouse. So how cute and cool, and I wonder where that sign is right now. But anyway, pretty adorable. So there was lots of things that they did throughout the years to renovate and make the studio workable, and they had to continue to put money into it as well. And bungalows were added also that they could use. The Publicity and Comic Strips building, which was actually a small wood frame bungalow, was moved to Burbank when they moved there, and it served as the studio mailroom for many years, and was moved again and renovated as two conference and meeting spaces known as the Hyperion Bungalow and the Silver Lake Room. So that's just interesting that they took parts of that to things that were moved to Burbank, as well as the personnel building and the Burbank store, just all sorts of things. So they took what they could to the new location. Really, really interesting. It was in the Hyperion studio that Disney produced, like I said, the last of the Alice comedies. And you think of all the things that happened that were, dealing with Winkler, building employees, having all sorts of things happen there that, were really pivotal in the growth. And obviously Mickey Mouse. So we had talked about before with the last Oswald cartoon that we talked about, how, they lost Oswald, and this would have been during that time period. But then of course we wouldn't have Mickey without that loss. So this was such an important time. And also they put this deposit down on July 6, 1925, July 13th, 1925, Walt and Lillian were married. So just everything happening really, really cool and exciting for the Disney family. One of the names for the company, I think they were calling it the Disney Brothers Studio, and they decided to take Roy out of the picture and just make it more Walt Disney. I believe I've read different things, but it sounds like that's something Walt and Roy agreed upon. Roy didn't really have a problem with it. Like I said, he was a humble guy. He was you know, not interested in his name being out there like Walt was, and so he was fine with that decision. So that would have been around this time too. So the Hyperion location was declared a historical cultural monument in October 6, 1976, and marker number 163 was installed there. Then in 2005, the landmark was amended to include more area, that among other things added for the space of Disney's first animation school. So that we've talked about that and how the animators wanted art classes and more animation and learning and stuff. So that is something that would have happened in that time period also. So really, really interesting. And there's a marker that, like I said, number 163. I'm sure if you're gonna go see Hyperion, you're gonna do some kind of formal tour, or at least follow a website or something, because there's lots of little stops you'll want to make along the way to see different places where all the Disney magic happens. So really cool. Did you guys do you know more history about the Hyperion? Have you been over there? Have you done some of these tours? I'd love to hear about it. We haven't done any of the Disney stuff in California. We've only know about the Chicago because that's where we lived, and as a married couple we haven't toured stuff in California as of yet, but there's always stuff to do in the future, and so we'll see. But I'd like to hear if you guys did some of these things or have seen them and know some of this history down in the comments below. So that's it for this day in Disney. We'll see you guys next time. Bye!